You've noticed it too, haven't you? Don't try to look surprised. You've had that far-off look all morning. Yeah. The one that says, I think I dreamt something important. You've had that before. It slipped out of your hands before you could write it down, didn't it? You're not the only one. The baker forgot to light her oven today. And Wren's been humming a tune that makes rosemary in her windowsill stand straighter. Even the rush weaver's stall had that feeling, like someone left without saying goodbye, but only just. So I started asking around, quietly, carefully, and it turns out something's passing between us all. Not a message exactly, not a warning, a dream. Or something like one. You want to hear what I've gathered? It began to happen quietly, not with fanfare, not all at once, but like mist creeping in beneath the door, soft, steady, and certain. The dream was never exactly the same, but it always began the same way. A willow, silver-leaved and swaying in windless air, a ring of lanterns unlit, a hum barely heard, and a sense, not of fear, but of invitation. Lisbeth was the first to say something aloud, not during her usual weaving hours, but while sweeping the stones beside the rush stall. She paused mid-brush, brow furrowed, eyes distant, and said almost absently, "The leaves were silver, and someone was humming. I think I was standing in the middle, but I wasn't alone." She blinked, looked around, and laughed a little awkwardly. Never mind, strange dream. But she wasn't the only one. The same morning, the baker's youngest daughter woke with her hands streaked with soil and a name on her lips she didn't remember learning. "Marin," she said matter-of-factly, then reached for her cup of milk like it meant nothing at all. Old Wren paused on her garden path that afternoon. Basket full of sage, shawl slipping off her shoulder. She looked up at the whisper light above her door and whispered, "I remember that song." Then frowned. "But who taught it to me?" No one answered, but the light blinked twice and held steady. By the next day, the dream had crept even further. A fisherman hummed the tune while tying knots. A child playing at the fountain drew circles in the water with her fingertip, lips moving in silence. Even Margaret from the bakery stopped mid-knead, eyes misted, hands still in flour, murmuring 12 lanterns, and someone just outside the circle, watching. None of them thought to tell each other, not at first. Dreams are like that, too fragile to share, too easy to forget the moment you try. But the hush that followed each telling, that was the same, as though something sacred had brushed past. Back at the cottage, the lantern keeper noticed the change in the light first. It filtered through the windows differently now. Not brighter, but fuller, as though carrying more than sun. They didn't draw that morning, didn't stitch or brew tea, just listened. The world was full of small sounds, not birdsong or breeze, but the rhythm of daily life. On the market green, someone left a sprig of rosemary tied with a green ribbon on the corner of the rush weaver's table. No note, no flourish, just placed there. Lisbeth found it midday, tucked it gently into her satchel without comment. Later, she found herself braiding without looking. The pattern, unfamiliar, but her fingers moved like they already knew it. At the lantern keeper's door, a stone appeared overnight, flat and smooth, etched with a braid curled inward. And at its center, faint but visible, a thumbprint, not pressed but worn in, like it had been touched before and would be touched again, like the stone from the clearing. The dream deepened, not in length, but became closer. No longer just sleep, but the rhythm of walking, the pause before speaking, the light that lingered on the edge of thought. Old Wren hummed as she dusted her bookshelves, notes she hadn't sung in decades. The child by the fountain traced runes she didn't know into the mud. A lantern at the apothecary's stall flickered once, despite no one standing near. It wasn't frightening, not even particularly strange, just familiar in a way that brought tears without explanation. Like hearing a story you forgot you loved, or finding something in your pocket you don't remember placing there, but couldn't bear to lose. The lantern keeper began writing again. Not in words, but in lines, shapes, 12 lanterns, the silver-leafed willow, a braid unfinished, and at the center, not a symbol, but a space. Room for something still becoming, still arriving. That night, the dream came yet again. 3 nights. Too many. Some slept deeply, unaware. Some woke just before the end. Some rose from bed and stood in the dark, heart full of something unnamed. But all who dreamt remembered something. Not the story, not the meaning of it, just the feeling it left behind. That hush that consumed the circle. And the knowing. They were not the first to dream it, and would not be the last. The dream, it's spreading, you know. Not like a storm. More like a song half remembered, passed from breath to breath until the whole village begins to hum. No one's saying it out loud yet. Not really. But the look in their eyes is changing. Like they're carrying something they didn't know they still remembered. I didn't think it needed translating. I think it just needs to be held. So if it visits you again, or leaves a braid in your windowsill, or a name on your lips, don't be afraid. That's just the story learning to speak again.